Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to Chatting Breeze, episode 14, I think. I actually can't remember, but I think it's 14. Anyway, up this week, we've got MUNAAAA, a wicked DJ and producer, Bristol-based, who I've been a big admirer of for a while. Sort of found her when she was doing her more garagey bits, and then she's progressed now to some really, really cool, like, footworky sort of stuff, and has some really cool stuff going on with her own sort of label imprint / album series that she will explain a lot better than I will be able to, doing some great stuff in the city and further afield. We talk about loads of wicked stuff, kazoos, bin men, psytrance, just all the usual podcast content. Really good episode. Really enjoyed chatting to MUNAAAA. And there is an extra half an hour of this, as always, on the Belters Patreon, patreon.com/Belters. Join the Belters Club for £5 a month. We've actually just put our next release up there, even though it doesn't come out for another month or so. But if you want those tunes already, then, get yourself over there right now and pay your £5 and get those Belters dubs a month before release. I'm super gassed for this project. So, I think it represents a really good new direction for the label. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. I'm going to stop waffling now, as I always do, and let you enjoy the episode. So patreon.com/Belters. Make sure to leave a like, rate on the episode. God, I'm a beg. Right, enjoy. That. And we're in.
Hello.
There we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough.
That's okay. You know what? CDQ had a cough on his one as well, and I was listening back to it, and I had a bit of a cough at the same time, and the whole thing was just us going
the loud distortion.
Yeah, literally. So
at least you can pick a cough out of Audacity because it spikes.
Oh, I just leave them all in.
Oh,
leave all the coughs in. There's a lot of spikes for me anyway, because I just do that a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, look, you've already said.
Welcome back to Chatting Breeze, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to move my tea over here.
Oh, yes.
This week, I'm joined by the big bad MUNAAAA.
Hello.
There we go. How are
Hello,
you? You
selectors.
all good?
I'm very good, thank you.
Very, very good. If you don't know, which I'm sure you do, MUNAAAA is a producer, DJ, label head, aficionado. Anything else you want me to add to your list of many talents?
Professional kazoo player.
Sorry, how could I possibly forget? In fact, you did bring a couple, didn't you?
Yeah,
Let's put them out on the table. And we'll play them. Oh my goodness, look at those.
Hold
it up to the camera quickly. For the audio only crew, she's currently dual wielding a gold and a pink kazoo. Which one did you say was the broken one?
So this is the broken one. Oh. This is the one that I razzed the most. It cost me £6.
Broke because you razzed it?
Well, yeah, I've just been kazooing a lot, I've got to practice. I've got to keep my skills up. This one I found on a bin at Glastonbury, so this is the OG. This is how I fell in love with kazooing.
Kazoos just come to you, don't they?
They do, yeah. No one else really has a use for them. So
actual question. Because yours is going to be this is so embarrassing. Which end do you put your mouth on?
Trust me, you're not the only person. It's actually mad how many people don't understand how to use a kazoo.
Really?
It's crazy. So this is the end. I think you can.
Are you sure? I thought it was the other end.
Google it if you want.
Sorry, I know I'm speaking to the kazoo.
You can use this end, but this is the normal end to use, as far as I know.
Go on, give us a little. Or you want to use your one? Use the gold one.
This one's actually a little bit fucked, but see, but this one.
Whoa!
It's a lot better.
Sorry, headphone users.
Yeah, sorry. I have to put that
no, that's
down.
fine.
I'll give you a proper tune or something in a bit.
Yeah.
Save that.
Where did the kazoo thing start?
So I actually I had a kazoo when I was a kid. I didn't realise this wasn't normal. I thought most children grew up with a kazoo, but it started at Glastonbury in 2022. I found this on a bin.
Right.
It was the one night I wasn't working and I was wrecked, and I just spotted this on a bin and obviously decided not to wash it or anything. I was sick, let's go. So I was just running around Glastonbury playing this kazoo, and everyone I met, I was like, oh, do you want to have a go on the kazoo? And I literally, not one person knew how to play it. They were all blowing into it. It's broken, mate. And I was like, you have to sing into the kazoo.
Yeah, so it's more of a do rather than
you just
okay.
into it, you see. I was shocked, honestly. I was shocked at the lack of public knowledge around the kazoo.
You had one growing up then as well?
Yeah. It's literally identical to this.
Really?
Yeah. When I got to age 4, my grandma bought all of me and my siblings a kazoo. I thought that was standard practice.
Tradition, mate.
Yeah,
Absolute
exactly.
tradition.
I'm shocked to find out.
Have you ever used any in your productions or anything?
None of my released productions, but me and my little sister did once make a cover of a Backstreet Boys song using the kazoo.
Hard.
For the bass, which is pretty sick, yeah.
That's strictly a dub,
It is strictly a dub. It's only for the heads, you know. No, not yet. Big things coming soon, everybody.
When then, I guess I always like to start at sort of, I guess, like the beginning, as is, I know it's surprising, right? When did you first start getting into music? Have you always had like a sort of musical sort of bone in your body, I suppose, or was it more recent thing?
Yeah, so like my mum and dad, this is the beginning. My mum and dad met in a band called the Five Furious Fish.
This really is the beginning.
Yeah, called the Five Furious Fish.
Sick band name.
And so like, yeah, I grew up with my mum and dad both playing in bands. My mum's still in a band called Dumbo's Feather. It's a folk band.
Also a sick band name.
And yeah, like she was also the piano teacher at my school when I was growing up. So I had like piano lessons and violin lessons when I was little. And like all my siblings played musical instruments as well. They never like properly like Tiger Mum forced us into it, but they just really wanted us to get into it. And we were like quite feral children, like running around like fucking with kazoos and like stuff, you know. So like I've always like loved music, and they always used to like play so many different kinds of music when I was young as well, and take us to see the Jazz every week. So yeah, I'll stop talking about that now. That was like, yeah, I never like planned to like be a DJ or anything like that. But yeah, like
the DJ life chose me.
Yeah, I always really loved that, and then I did like normal A levels, just like English and philosophy and art. And then I started like doing pingers and going out when I was like 16 and listening to like, I was in Devon, so it was just all like free parties and like parties in barns. And I was like, oh my God, like love this. This is sick.
Wow, yeah.
Like really love this. Like I love like sort of what it does to people, this kind of music. It's so
What kind of music
sick.
was being played?
It was kind of like, what was it they used to listen to? A lot of garage, actually. I started loving garage when I was like 16, 17.
Wow.
I was like dating this nitty lad who like introduced it to me.
Shout out the nitty lad.
Shout out the fact that he introduced me to garage, but not yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But like, yeah, so like jungle, garage, just kind of like cringe, like wobbly house kind of tunes.
Yeah, like Jackie and that sort of thing, yeah.
Or that like Chris Lorenzo bangers.
Come on.
And loads of bass line. They love bass line in Devon.
Really?
Yeah, they love it.
Oh my goodness.
I remember going to a massive free party when I was like 17, and they had a huge like banner behind the deck saying "Bassline is my breast milk."
Oh my goodness me.
But yeah, then I was like, okay, no, I really want to make tunes and like be a DJ. And like me and my best mate were like, yeah, we're gonna become a DJ duo. It's gonna be sick. And obviously like thought that wasn't gonna happen. But then I was like, I'm actually gonna go to Bristol and like. And then I went to college in Bristol, DBS College. Sorry, I'm really going in a tangent here.
No. This is all about tangents. Honestly, you're completely fine. It's interesting. From the people that I spoke to on this podcast before, I've actually found out that like so many people who are sort of in the scene now actually do have like a sort of musical background, like they've played an instrument or something, which is so interesting to me because. I mean, I know obviously I don't produce or anything, but I have absolutely zero musical background whatsoever. Like, I think I played keyboard once. I think I played keyboard for like maybe a couple months in like year 8. Didn't get very far, gave up. Actually, I played cello when I was like 5.
Really?
Yes.
That's quite a like prestigious instrument for a 5-year-old. You're probably like the size of a cello.
I know. Imagine like little 5-year-old me with fucking huge cello. Yeah. But I don't know. I think there's maybe a bit of a obviously like a misconception now about like people that are in music, people that are doing music, like making electronic music rather, that they don't have any sort of previous musical sort of ability.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that one definitely helps the other. Like, do you find that you're using what you learned then in like in your productions now, I guess?
Well, it's hard to say because I also like studied music for like 5 years as well. So like I've learned loads, but like I think the same things that attracted me to it then, like I still like feel the same way about it, and I I used to play guitar as well for like years. That was my thing before I became a selector and producer. But like I still get the same like feeling in my brain when I like think of like a melody or something. I'm like, oh, like just I don't know. It's the same feeling that I get when I was like playing other instruments of like I've got to do this like right now. And it's just kind of it manifests in the same way as like playing a instrument. Definitely.
That I feel like it's one of those things, isn't it, where it's like it's not like you're like actually recording anything like live in terms of like you're not getting guitar out and like playing a melody, but it's that knowledge of like song structure and that sort of thing. What were some of your earlier tunes like then?
Jesus Christ, they were so bad.
Really?
Literally. Do you want to know the first tune I ever produced?
Yeah,
it was a 6-minute psytrance tune that had Irish folk samples in it.
That sounds absolutely amazing.
It was so bad. I still have like this secret SoundCloud. I used to have my old tunes, and it's still on there, and occasionally I will listen to it. It's like, I've got all these like Irish folk vocals in,
it's
and like a bit of bagpipes, but you'll never find it.
Well, I mean, say that. I could do some proper online sleuthing. Find it,
but that was my first production, and I submitted it for a college project, and I have no idea, like, just imagining what the tutor was thinking when he had to listen to that and grade it.
What grade did you get from it?
I can't remember. This was many years ago. This was in college. But I went to DBS college in Bristol, and like everyone else in the class, like either like loved tech and like doing kettle, was like a roadman who loved drum and bass, and then I turned up in like a sort of like pixie skirt with like a, I don't know, like my hair in plaits and like glitter on. Like I love psytrance, and I remember like someone laughing at me like, when we were going around the class and introducing ourselves, and me being like, I want to make psytrance and psy breaks, and like the boys started laughing at me.
Unreal. Is that where you came from initially? Was like a psytrance sort of thing?
Like, it's just very like that in Devon. Like it's all a bit like wafty and stuff. And like I used to love listening to like jungle and bassline when I was younger, and then like started coming up to Bristol to go to Tribe of Frog and stuff. Classic, when I turned 18. And like my friends, like one of my friends' boyfriends got a rig, and we'd all play psytrance, and we all like became very trancey, and everyone had like a few dreads in their hair, and we'd like smoke weed and
did you ever have a dread?
I actually dreaded my whole hair one day and then undreaded it all on the same day because I was like, that looks shite.
Oh my
and I
God.
remember the plumber came round halfway through, and I had to like answer the door for my mum, and I was like halfway through undreading my hair, and like he was just like, what's happening here?
I didn't know. I thought dreading took. I mean, my knowledge of
dreadlocking
is very limited.
I don't think I did it properly. I was just like at home ill, and I was like, we're gonna do this, lad. So then I did it, and then I was like, that looks really bad.
Oh my goodness. So how long was that your sort of musical focus then?
So yeah, like went to DBS, all like shiny faced and like innocent, and like I love psytrance, and then obviously like got corrupted within a few months, and like started dating like some dealer who like loved grime, and then I was like, maybe I love grime as well. Like
maybe that's me. Yeah.
Started listening to Novelist and like, you know.
Come on.
Bought some trainers.
Oh, no way.
And like I started loving dubstep. I already loved garage by that point as well. I loved garage. Garage was the one thing, I loved it when I first heard it, and I went through so many different musical phases, but I always loved garage. And I was actually embarrassed about it when I came to DBS.
Really?
It was like before the revival and stuff, and I was really embarrassed that I liked garage, and I didn't tell anyone. And then I think like in the second year, I was like, fuck it. Like, I love garage. I don't know why I'm trying to make other stuff. I should just start doing that instead. Yeah. And then I never looked back.
Because that's where I first found you, was for your more like garagey stuff. I can't even remember what the first tune, because I was trying to think about this before you came over. I was like, when did I first like encounter your, just hit the mic, sorry about that. When did I first encounter your music, and like when did we first like actually meet each other? I can remember as far back as you had the release on 40 Grit.
I had one before that as well. I had a 4-track EP on Outhouse Sounds with played the chop like a samurai sword. That
when
one
was
on
that?
It. This was 2021.
Okay, that would have been like just at the start when I was sort of entering things, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm a little baby. I've only been around for like 3 years.
Yeah, same to be fair.
Really?
Yeah, that was my first release was in 2021.
Oh, I guess yeah.
And then I didn't start DJing until like last year, like the year before.
So what were you doing before that? While you were at college, did you have any kind of like musical output, or were you just sort of doing it for fun?
Well, I went to college, so that was like years ago. That was when I was like 18, and then finished that. Then I like had a gap year. That was when I became a bin man. Then I came back to go to uni in 2019 to do a sound engineering degree, but I hadn't put anything out. The first thing I put out was like the first anything I did was in 2021. It was like second year of uni. We had to make an EP and like do the art and like
part of your project.
Yeah, and I was just like. I was so scared of producing. I didn't have a laptop until that year either. I'd never had one. Even at college, I just like did it all on the all the college laptops. And then I finally got a laptop and I just started making tunes. And it was like, I don't know. I was like, oh, I'm so bad at producing. And then I got a laptop. I was like, oh, maybe I just needed a laptop. And like,
the laptop was the secret. Yes. I wanted to chat about your gap year as a bin man.
Oh yeah.
It's a hell of a way to spend a gap year.
Oh mate, it was actually iconic.
What? How did you wind up in as a bin man?
To be fair, the whole year was such a great gap year. I love how like some people will go to Thailand to find themselves, but I just like, so it started. I went to Holland for a few months and worked in a jazz bar cleaning toilets, and that was fun. Then I came back, moved to a different town in Devon, into this really nice flat that my friend rented me for. It used to be like a grow flat for like weed and stuff, so that he was renting it out really cheaply because it was still all a bit like bait and weird.
Okay.
I was like, it's fine.
What was bait and weird about it?
I don't know. There was just like, I don't know. It was just like weird vibes. There was still kind of like the stuff on the ceiling for like growing the weed and things. But it was a really nice flat.
Like the UV lights and things? No way. That's crazy.
But like I lived there and it was really nice. And I worked at like doing some bar jobs, and then I got fired. And then I went back to my mum's and I was like, okay, right, I'm going to just like knuckle down and like make some money and just like do something where I don't have to interact with people, because that's just where my downfall in jobs. So then I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to become a bin man, because you don't really have to like chat to anyone. You're just sort of like putting the bins out. And I did. And
you were a bin man in Devon?
Yeah, I was a bin man in Devon.
Not a bad place to be a bin man.
No, it was like everyone else on my team was literally a man who had lived in Devon for his whole life.
Yeah.
But it was very split. Like half of them were like, why aren't you doing hair and beauty, love? And then the other half of them were like, respect for you like coming in here and like, you know. I
was going to say, working with the blokes. What was like, how was that? Because you said you were, was it the longest serving?
A woman on the recycling operative team. And I was only there for 2 months as well.
Oh my God.
I got fired, which is so bad.
How did you get fired from being a bin man?
Well, I know that it was sort of booky, like feministy type. I mean, I think it was slightly patriarchal type stuff, but it was like, I think it was a mixture of things. I pulled both my hamstrings, one of them from lifting like heavy glass boxes, and then the other one because I went to a protest on the weekend. So I was doing like a 9 to 5, and on the weekend I went to an Extinction Rebellion protest and like pulled another one from like sleeping in a crypt.
Sleeping in a crypt or sleeping in a...
Sleeping. We had to like sleep in the crypt of a church because... Yeah, that's where all the protesters were sleeping. And I like, did my leg in. But I came back to work and I was like, really couldn't walk.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like if I'm on shift with like some of the people I like, it'll be all right. They'll like take the piss out of me, but I'll get through. And I was feeling very like mentally drained because of the protest as well. But then because it's like 3 people on shift every time and you rotate. And I was on shift with these 2 like knobheads. One of them was like the son of the manager of the yard, and the other one was just this dick who like was used to bully me. And I just remember them like starting to take the piss out of me, and I was like, you know what, like I can't do this. And I went into the office, and I was like a little bit emotional, but I was just like, I'm not going on shift with these people. Like you can't make me. You're gonna have to put me on with some other people. And they were like, oh, well, we can see you're a little bit upset. Like just take the week off because you're obviously in pain. And then I went home, and then my agent called me and were like, yeah, like they're gonna have to let you go. And I was like, why? And they were like, oh, it's timekeeping issues. And I was like, well, that's bollocks. I've never been late for anything before. So like, it must be because I got emotional, like asked to not be on shift. And what I think it is basically like, there's loads of 16-year-old lads that have come out of school that aren't going to make a fuss about things like that probably want a job. So it'd be easier to have one of them on than me. But I called up the manager and literally like sent for him so hard. I was just like, hey, you listen here, you fucking bastard. Like, yeah.
Did you get smelly while you were working?
Yes.
Very smelly.
I did. I stank. I literally stank. My mum made me take off all my bin clothes at the door.
Oh, hello. Oh, God.
Hello.
Yours truly is just. Could you please put the green screen back as it was? Thank you.
Just in time to hear about my bin man stories.
Open the door. Open the door and tuck the green screen into the corner.
Okay.
Jesus. Comes in here and causes an absolute carnage. I'm not going to edit this out. Everyone's going to see what a fool you are, Lauren. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Sorry if I'm speaking too fast as well. Let me know.
No,
sometimes I get
good.
a bit overexcited and just like.
Sometimes the mic. I think it's an MC mic, so it's good
Selector.
To be like. There we go. A little bit closer. So you lost your job as a bin man.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking sad, to be honest. Yeah. But then. No, carry on.
No, you carry on, please.
I'm on a roll. I FaceTimed my friend that evening and was like,
oh my goodness. Open the appetizer in the corner.
I called my friend and I was like, I lost my job at the bins. And she was doing a year off in what do you call it? Erasmus year for uni in France. And she was like, the person I'm staying with needs like a painter decorator to come do the house up. And he was like...
In France?
Yeah, he was like quite rich and he was like, just come here, like help me do my kitchen up and I'll pay you 800 quid. And I was like, sick. So the next day I just like went to France and like
That's
did
crazy.
that. It was sick. And then before I knew it, I was like knocking down plasterboard in my pajamas, like listening to French rap. It was epic.
That's mental. I always find like there's some people that just have these like experiences and like I feel like these things just happen to some people. It's like, imagine getting a call and saying like, oh yeah, just come to France and work here like for a little bit and I'll pay you.
It was good.
That's mental.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was a bit mental, but it was good.
Yeah. How long were you there for?
I was only there for like a week and a bit, and then I came back, and then they invited me back again for a few more weeks. Yeah. And I came back, but by that time, they were like sort of in a turbulent relationship.
Right.
And by the time I came back, it was very like...
Not good.
No, things weren't going well, so I was just kind of like sanding a door outside and like listening to them like shouting at each other in different languages.
Oh my goodness.
It was like pretty intense.
Yeah.
So I did leave.
Were you like during this time, during your bin men / paint decorator phase, were you still making tunes or?
This is before. Yeah. This isn't even about music. This is me just telling you my life story.
Yeah, no. This is reading out your CV. No, not at all.
Take it on a bit of a like weird.
No. Do you put bin man on your CV when you're applying for jobs?
I actually have. Yeah, when I was applying for the cleaning job, I did put that on. It's just, I reckon it's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
on there.
Definitely.
My CV is actually such a mixed bag.
This is
it's
what
hilarious.
I'm saying.
It's like music, like shows like some of the things I've done in music, like all of the, I don't know, like organizational stuff I've done, and then it's just like bin man below that, and then like various like weird volunteering things I've done.
You're well rounded though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Any employers out there? She's very well rounded. Good worker, hard worker.
I'm like Chucha Buddy G out of people just doing nothing. I'll do anything, mate.
Anything as long as there's corn involved.
Exactly.
Okay, so skip forward a little bit then, I suppose.
Back to the music.
Well, mate, I'm more than happy to chat about the intricacies of being a bin man. So you were studying, what was the course you were doing at DBS? Sorry.
The uni one.
Yeah.
I did music production and sound engineering.
And do you feel like that helped you at all in your sort of production and stuff?
In a kind of roundabout way, it did. Like, it was quite savage having to do a sound engineering degree through COVID because I didn't get to engineer any sound.
True.
But I think the main thing I learned was like mixing down. Like, I couldn't mix down before, and learning about like sort of the more technical side of like what plugins to use where, and like just, I don't know, the kind of like technicalities of making a track without not so much the creative stuff, but like how to do that. And like also room sound. I know that sounds really like nerdy and weird, but like I really learned about like how different size and shape of rooms and things you have in rooms and speakers make a difference to the sound of your tune. So I've kind of learned how to produce in a room that's maybe not like really good for producing, and what things are just the room and then what things are my tune. So then like now when I listen to a track on headphones and I listen to my speakers, it sounds like way more similar than I ever did before, because I think that's like probably the best thing my degree taught me. That's
so interesting, because I was thinking about this when I was trying to set up this studio. As I'm sure you can see, I tried to have some sort of sound treatment, but it's all just fucking falling off. It's happened. I was recording an episode the other week and it just kept falling off the fucking wall. Obviously blue tack's not the...
To get some egg boxes.
Egg boxes like they do in People Just Enough as well, yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of that. You could probably tell the things
I love that show. It's so good. Treating a room and all that, the technical side of things is something that I wish I knew a bit more about. I think that can be what sort of separates, like that can almost be what makes a track, like it sort of elevates it to another level. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I think even if like your creative idea is there, sometimes it can be lacking if it's not properly mixed down.
Yeah, I
that sort of
100% agree. I always used to be like, it's just about like the music, blah blah blah. But like, as much as it is kind of true, like uni really taught me that as well. I think half of like how good a tune sounds is like how well it's mixed down. It makes such a difference.
There's some tunes that are like so insanely simple. There's maybe like 4 or 5 elements happening, but because they're so just like tight, like they just sound so good.
I always think that it's like cooking a dinner. Like if you like, it's not necessarily better if you put loads and loads of stuff in. Like sometimes the best things is just a few things that are just like amazing quality.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
That's a good way of putting it. It's very smart.
I did a degree actually, so.
What kind of stuff were you making during your degree? I presume it's music production, so they must have been getting you to make like, a lot of tunes.
I had this tutor who was actually so sick. I'm still kind of in love with him. Adam Gazler, big up Gazler if you're watching this. I can finally tell you how I feel about you because you don't work there anymore.
No, he doesn't work there anymore either.
No,
okay.
I know, right?
Say whatever the hell
Tried to
you
find him
want.
on Instagram afterwards, but couldn't.
Tried to hit him up.
I just had a little look, you know. Like, no. He was
All
just.
them late
He
night
was
scrolls,
not.
yeah.
I'm just joking. Like I just thought he was a sick tutor, and he really like taught us loads about like the reality of being like a bedroom producer and like trying to make it and stuff, and it was just sick. But anyway, yeah, like
something about the kind of tunes you were trying to make. I don't know
why I started talking about Adam Gazler.
No, that's okay.
It's like incriminating. I shouldn't be saying this.
You would they give you briefs and say, "Oh, today we're going to try and make this kind of tune," or would they kind of just let you do your own thing?
Yeah, everyone's allowed to make whatever music they want. You know, they would never like force you to make something you don't want. Like half the stuff we did was kind of like recording and like other bands and things, and just talking about like really nerdy like sound tech stuff. And then the other half was like making music, and there was like such a mixture of people on my course. Like, so it would be, I don't think it would be fair to make people make one sort of thing, because some people weren't even producers, they just wanted to like engineer sound. But yeah, when I went to uni, I was like really like I was fully liberated into being like, yeah, I want to make garage. So I was just wanting to make like kind of like dark UK type beats, which is really reflected in like that EP I did in second year. Yeah. The whole idea of it was like a journey through like UK white label sounds. So I did I started off with like a 2-steppy tune that was quite light-hearted. Then I did a more like breaky, like dark one. Then I did like a 140 jungle breaks tune, and then I did like a sort of electro like UK bass banger at the end, and it was supposed to be like a trajectory of like all the things I was into.
When did you kind of, because in my head, for your sort of sonic sort of timeline, I guess you could say, like there was a period where you sort of started to move away from the garagey stuff, and I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, now you're sort of more into your sort of like footworky sort of things, or am I mistaken?
No, you're not mistaken. Like I'm still all into the same stuff, but like I can't really think of like what happened. I think I just heard some DJ Rashad and I was like, that is sick. Yeah. Like wonder if anyone's ever mixed that with jungle, and then I was like, oh wait, like that's a whole thing. People mixing footwork in jungle. And I already loved jungle. I never played it, but I've like loved it for a long time. And then I can't really, like, it's really hard to remember that bit for some reason. I don't know.
Because I remember you put out, I can't remember the actual name of the tune. I'll put the artwork behind us right now on the green screen.
Excellent.
But it's like blue, and there's like maybe there's like a flower on it or something, and you put it on. It's on your SoundCloud.
Yeah, Patchworks.
No, not the Patchworks one. It's like it was before that.
Oh, right. Because like the Patchworks one is blue and the flower. I was like, are you taking the piss? Like you premiered that.
That's like blue and pink, right? Yeah. This is like, it's almost like sort of painted a little bit.
God, like
maybe I'm completely making things up. Yeah, no.
Oh no,
our in-house producer is going to search.
Are you thinking of like, is it black background with like a little flower and then like a picture of a person there? Yeah, that was my first EP that I did That was
the Outhouse one.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
God, I should have done some more research.
You don't need to like know all of my releases.
No, but I should have looked into it before we started recording. Yeah, no, I remember that one. That's what I very vividly remember. And then after that, was your next release the 40 grit one?
Yeah, I'm really not a prolific producer. I have not put out a lot of tunes. Oh no, wait, it wasn't. I did one for Thingy Bob, Taipan Tracks as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. What do you think about being a prolific producer there, though? Because I think like it's an interesting one. There are some producers who release like so often and it works really well for them, but then there's the other side to that coin where there are some who sort of barely release and that plays to their strengths as well. Oh. Like, do you think it's that, like, for you, is it a conscious decision for you to not release frequently?
No, it's not. I'm like, I have no strategy. Like, I actually sometimes think, like, some people I know that are amazing producers, they're like, I'm just waiting till I've got like a good body of work because my workflow is not good enough for me to be releasing stuff, so I need to get that. And I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have just like made something and put it out. Is that your process then? I'm just like a penguin or something, you know, when it like lays one egg a year or something and it takes ages. It's like that. It's like some people are chickens and I'm a penguin. I just can't. I just take ages to make songs.
I completely understand now. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that's quite a...
No.
I do weird analogies.
What's your process then? You make a tune and then instead of sitting on it and getting a few tunes together, you'll try and look for a home for that tune? Or?
No, I don't really have a process, to be honest. Like all of the tunes I've released other than the Taipan Tracks and the 40 grit one were for uni, so I had to do it. So like the Patchworks thing, I wanted to do that anyway, but I was like, it's a perfect way to do it because uni's going to force me to do it. Yeah. And I made tunes for that. And then for the first EP as well, I had to do that for uni. And since then, I've just been kind of like... just trying to like, I also think because the last two tunes I put out did quite well, I've just got this thing in my head now of like, I can't really reach creative flow in the same way. Like I'll just start thinking like, is this as good as the last one I made? Like, is this gonna, like, I don't know. It's just, I'm sort of just still working out my relationship with it, I suppose. I'm also incredibly ADHD. So like I just don't really have a process of working. Like my process will be, I don't make anything for months and suddenly I get this idea like from the heavens and I'm like, and then I just like sit there and just like sweat for like 2 days and just like put everything off. And then I'm like, ta-da, it's finished. And then I think it's the best thing that's ever been heard. And then I'll listen to it the next day and I'm like, this is utter shit. And then I'll just never listen to it again.
It is difficult, isn't it? That's such an issue that I think so many producers have, especially when, like you say, you've had a couple of tunes that have done really well. You're always sort of a bit worried that like, oh, what if this one isn't received in the same sort of way?
Yeah, it's such a shame to like tie your validation in with tunes. I'm really trying to learn not to do that, which is kind of why I took a break from DJing as well. I'm like, right, no, like you have to try and get back in touch with why you love doing it.
For sure. I wanted to talk about Patchworks as well because that's something that is sort of your one of your main focuses at the minute, musically speaking. Patchworks is your label.
Sort of a label, yeah.
Well, I suppose I'll let you describe it. Sorry.
It's still very much in the process of like being fully realized, but like I don't know if I want to say that it's a label. I think it's kind of just like an album series right now, like a sort of basically just a way of like generating money creatively for like different causes. And I have done a couple of events, but I've sort of realized that I'm not quite ready to be doing that yet because it is actually a lot of work.
I hate promoting.
I would love to do it. I really, I have lots of ideas for what I'd like to do, but I want to wait till I've got more people around me. Yeah. I really want Patchworks to be a community focused thing as well. And if it's just me like sweating at a desk, I feel like it's not kind of like the right thing. So I want to like, when I put events on, I want it to be with like more people. So I need to recruit some more people before I do that. But yeah. Right, I'm just going to try and explain what Patchworks is.
Go for it.
I basically was just really inspired by like, you know, Concrete Jungyals, who are now Club Siren, and like Bad Girls Club. It was sort of my last year of uni and I did summer before I started my last year of uni and I was just thinking about how like important things like that are and how that's something that I'm really passionate about. Like, you know, intersectionally inclusive spaces in music, which as someone who studied music for 5 years and like the whole time it's just been me surrounded by like blokes with like fucking Nike trainers and crossbody bags, like fucking did you hear the new Monty tune and stuff. Like I was like, I've only ever studied alongside 4 other women in the 5 years that I was studying, and like I think 4 of them left.
Wow.
Like, because they couldn't hack it. And I was just like, this is wrong. Like, this is not right. So I don't know, it kind of put into perspective how much those spaces are needed. And like, I felt really inspired by them. So I was like, all right, I want to do something like that. And yeah, so like, I kind of tied it into my final year project at uni. And I think what I want it to be eventually is a label, and I want to do events as well. But I'm doing album series at the minute because I just want to try and like, oh God, I'm really explaining this in a roundabout way.
No, honestly, you're fine.
But yeah, I want it to be a label, and I want it to be an event. And I think the core principles behind it is I don't want to be like the head of it. I want it to be a community of people where everybody has, this sort of like a hive thing where everybody has their own input, and it's very like flat level management or whatever. And I want it to be based on like mutual aid. So like people doing things for each other, like, and just like raising money for good causes, and people just like, yeah, female, intersex, non-binary, trans people to have a space to release whatever music they want to release. And I think I'm doing compilation things at the minute. So like it's just female, intersex, non-binary, trans people releasing like just electronic tunes on the album series, and then all the money generated will go to like, I don't want it to go to like a charity. I want it to go to like more of like a grassroots cause. So like somebody that might need top surgery, or like I did a trans asylum seeker support network last time, which is like this grassroots like anarchist organization in America which help trans people like enter the USA safely from other places and things. And I chose like one person that the money went to as well. So like I was like communicating with this like refugee, and like we were sending them the money and stuff. I just want it to be like that, basically, like using creativity and music as a way to like bring people what they need, I suppose. That was such a roundabout way of explaining it.
No, that was perfect. That was really good.
I have lots of ideas for it as well. Like I think something I want to do is I'll get like female, intersex, non-binary, trans producers to release like an EP on the label, and then they choose where the money goes. Like maybe they have a friend that needs like housing or top surgery or something, and then all the money generated will go to that, like their choice of thing. That's
such like an interesting and like different way of doing it in terms of, we'll get to the kazoos, don't worry.
Champing of the bit, mate.
There's such an interesting way of doing it to have like sort of like an incredibly directed like a singular person, or like a singular like very small group of people that the money goes to. Because I think nowadays, especially with like all of like the horrible shit that's happening in the world, there's a lot of like charitable organizations, and a lot of the time like you just don't really know like where that money's going. So to be able to have like a definite like you know where that impact is going to be is something that I think is different, and I think will resonate with people, you know, because they'll be able to see the results a lot more easily.
And I also think as well, like it's just quite impersonal as well. Like it's like, oh, we're just loads of people that feel bad, and we're just gonna like give you some money. And I think like the really good thing about, obviously that's nothing bad with that, but I kind of want to bring it more into like, so with the album series I did in 2022, like I was literally like messaging on Signal with the person we were giving money to, and like you know, I was like telling them about the event and like sending them pictures of things, and we were kind of like kind of built up a bit of a connection as well. And I felt like it wasn't just like a faceless person we were giving the money to, and it wasn't, I just want to basically try and stay away from the word charity, which is why I like mutual aid. It's like, you know, we're connecting with you, and it's not just about like giving you money, but like we like actually sort of like interested in you as a human being, and like if you have any input to this as well, like, you know, we kind of just like widening the net a bit, basically.
It's not just like a faceless organization that you're throwing money at with no idea what's happening on the other end. That must have been amazing for the person that you were helping out as well, to sort of see like for them to see like all of this effort going into this work, into the events and things. That must be like incredibly like affirming for them as an individual.
Yeah, it's been really nice to chat to them. Like everyone at Trans Asylum Seeker Support Network is so lovely. And like I think I wanted to give the money from the next one that's coming out soon to Trans Aid Bristol, but I haven't been able to get in touch with them. But I might just give it to Trans Asylum Seeker again, and because they've always got people that need like more money and support. Yeah.
It is so good. And I mean, like even aside from all the amazing stuff you do on it, the tracks from the first one were unreal. The two that I premiered on mine were your two.
Yes.
so good. Like I'm not.
Thank you, sir.
Like don't get me wrong. Like I don't know much about like the sort of footwork space, and I wouldn't even say I'm that big of like a fan of like the genre. But those two tunes are so good. There's something about sort of your sound in those tracks, which I will put behind us now. There's something about your sound in those tracks where it's like sort of spacey and sort of like weirdly like ethereal, but it's still very much that sort of like tough sort of like footworky sound. Do you think that you have like a sort of definitive sound within your work, or?
I don't try to, but I've heard that I do. I think what it is I can't resist putting in like a sort of floaty, like weird little arpeggiated thing in there, and I do a lot of square waves as well.
Can you tell me what a square wave is?
It's
please?
like I can't. I was like gonna sing it, but I can't really sing. Can you
kazoo a square wave?
I feel like a kazoo literally would be a square wave. Maybe it's actually. I think it would be a sawtooth wave. Actually, a kazoo.
Okay, I don't know what any of this means.
So
but
like
that's
you
great.
know, like the kind of grime sound that like like telephone like grime sound you get.
Yeah.
It's in Pent Up as well. There's like a boop boop boop.
Yes.
That's a square wave.
Okay,
It's like I always go back to that. But yeah, I definitely do think I accidentally have a signature sound. It's just like breaks and like massive sub, and then like this kind of like twinkly arpy sound, and usually like a weird little like slutty vocal in there.
Love that. Because it's so interesting, isn't it? That I think like so many producers would probably have the exact same answers to that. Like people don't necessarily try to carve out a sound for themselves, but I guess it's just based on like what you like and what you're into, and it will just collect itself. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going into like I don't know how much you're producing at the minute, but if you were to go into like a production session, would you go into it thinking about the vibe you're trying to create, or do you just sort of let it sort of flow as it comes?
I go in there thinking about the vibe, but it always turns out completely different to what I honestly think if you think about what your signature sound is, it's not really your signature sound, because you're kind of you're like trying to curate something. Like your signature sound comes from, I think, trial and error of like finding all the things that you like and the things that work for you, and eventually they get funneled down into like a distilled thing which just always finds its place in whatever song you make. I think there's just like certain things that you come back to that just always, like, you can't really stop it, I don't think. No. Unless you're like literally trying to copy like random people's tunes. I think it's always going to happen.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a few people that are doing that.
Yeah, but that's how you learn as well. Like, you know, you literally have to do that in order to learn.
Yes.
Like,
you're with the album series. What are you finding easy and what are you finding difficult about it?
I find it easy to like. I'm very passionate about it, and I love doing it, but I'm just like so terrible at organizing everything. And you know, it's been in the making for about a year now, and to be fair, like that's also been because I've had like issues with like the mastering and stuff. Sorry, Sam, I know you will be watching this, and I'm not like dissing your mastering, it's sick.
What the fuck,
Sam? but like it's just, I'm like really not a very like admin-y person. I'm very all over the shop, but I've loved making the tunes and like sourcing the artists and like speaking to the people that we're going to give the money to and stuff, and I find it so exciting and so like affirming. But then there's just all these little loose ends that you just, you know, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this is going to be sick, I know exactly what I'm doing, I've made a list, and then all these things will come up that I didn't plan for, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, is that we were having this conversation before. It's like people, there are so many unforeseen things with like releasing other people's music, because you almost feel like you have more responsibility to them than you would if you were just releasing your own music.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've let them down as well, because it's such a long time. Like last time I did it, it was pretty concise, and this time, to be fair, I've had a bit of a mental year, but like it has just, I don't know, I think mainly just feeling bad that I'm sort of taking a bit of time with it, and I really want them to be happy with the project and things, and obviously they're all so lovely and like so understanding, but I just like want it to go well and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think it's okay though, and I think people, especially because of the angle you're coming at it from, in terms of like you want it to have some sort of like social impact in a sense. I think people, you know, like you're not doing this for your own personal gain, so I feel like there's a thing of, you know, these people appreciate you for what you're doing regardless, you know?
Yeah, I hope so. I think as well, like, I suppose I don't really want to create a label in the way that lots of people do. I'm not like, okay, I've got the art, I'm going to roll it out, I'm going to promote it and blah, blah, blah. I just kind of like, I just really want to make some money for these causes, and I just like making tunes and like want to listen to other people's tunes, but I don't really have that like promotional side of it. And when doing it, I'm like, actually, I kind of do need to have that because otherwise people aren't going to hear it. So then I'm like, oh shit, now I actually have to, it has to be like a thing. I have to like make it a thing. I can't just like put it out there and it's done. I have to like publicize it and stuff.
100%.
I'm bad at that.
Such a necessary evil, isn't it? Like the whole, you know, you have to be as visible as possible if you want your things to be like be seen at all. Like it's not the same as like 25 years ago or whatever. Not that I remember that the scene 25 years ago at all, but like it's from my understanding where like, you know, you could put out a record and it would just do well based on the merit of the record. Like there's so much more you have to think about now in terms of like promotion and things like that.
Yeah.
How deep are you in that side of it, or do you try and stay away from that?
I'm so bad at that side of it. Terrible. It's like, it's just kind of an awkward time for this release as well, because I've just decided to quit Instagram and now I'm like, oh, bollocks, like I need to do Patchworks. Like one day I'm just going to hire someone to run social media for me and do that when I'm rich and famous.
If anyone wants to be a free social media intern for Patchworks.
Tenner a day, no less.
Much less.
That was just another Chabuddy G reference.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What was that? We're three deep now. We're three deep. Do you want to hit that kazoo quick? I've been looking at that kazoo for ages.
You can have that one.
What do you want to play?
What's it? Glue, bicep.
Fucking hell. All right, ready? Right,
Come on,
count me in.
Wait, what was that? Was that?
I was going for. Yeah.
Okay, right. 1, 2, 3. I feel like what's going wrong here?
I think.
Wait, you should. I'll start. You join it.
You know what? It's enough. Yours is broken, isn't it? Yours is really broken.
How about Archangel? Burial.
Don't know. Come on.
Only the real ones know.
Unreal. Okay, I had to do it. I've been staring at them for like the last half an hour.
Burial's face in the back for that bit.
Nice. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Sorry, my chat on this has been like really like this has not been structured.
That's literally the whole point of the podcast, mate. Don't worry about it. You have landed yourself some pretty fucking sick bookings though over the last year, if you don't mind me saying. You did the Supersonic. You played that one?
Oh yes.
That was really,
good.
really fun. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah, you were there. Were you there?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And didn't you play on Dr. Dub Plays Rinse Show?
I did.
How did you wind up with that?
He messaged me and was just like, "Yo, do you want to come on Rinse?"
Nice. Classic.
Why are you insulting him?
No.
What's happened? What? Sorry, what?
There was just this one time, like before I even was anything in the scene.
You don't have to say.
It's fine. It's not that bad. He probably doesn't even remember.
He's definitely not going to listen either.
No, it's fine. Basically, just one time I went to an afters with him, like before. I think it was like just after, like, I don't think I was even in the scene. I'd definitely not done a DJ set. But I was like, I'd done some coke and I was like sat around and I heard him say something. He said something about like being a DJ and how it's like so hard, like in some way. And then I just laughed and he was like, what? And I was like, oh, you just sounded a bit like MC Grinder when you said that. And then like all the people around like had a little giggle and then I felt really bad and spent the next like half an hour with my arm on his shoulder, like, you know, I respect you. Like, you know, I didn't mean anything by that. Like,
oh my God.
He probably doesn't remember that, but...
Well, he will now.
God damn. Incriminating evidence.
That's so funny. So... What was I going to say? What's one of your favourite gigs you've played then as Muna? Or as anything? You really have. Don't worry.
The Borai one was great. Loved that. That was so fun.
You did it all night with him, right?
Yeah, that was so fun. It was just wholesome and like sick. And we went through all the genres and he's just, love him. He's sick. What else?
He's got absolutely everything on his stick, bro.
Yeah.
He's been about as well. Isn't he playing? Is it tonight? He's playing all night long history of drum and bass at Crofters.
Is he?
Oh, is
that with? Oh God, yeah. I remember Orion
That's
mentioning
with
that a
Orion's
while ago.
New brand, isn't it?
To be fair, I haven't been on Instagram properly in months, so I haven't been looking at anything.
That's probably for the best. Do you find that that's had like a positive?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What is it about Instagram you think that you hate?
You know, like it's just like the same things that everyone hates. It's just like insidious and like makes you feel bad about yourself. And like I think when you're doing like DJing promotion stuff as well, you just feel this kind of tie to it. Like you have to use it in order to like get bookings, in order to like promote yourself. You're just kind of like, even if you don't want to go on it, it just becomes like the opposite of a good time.
Yeah.
You just like have to go on it, and then you start like, you know, as you say earlier, like before the podcast, like you get sad when you don't get a lot of visibility because like, it's just like long and annoying. And then if you're already feeling bad, it just doesn't help. And I was just like, fuck this. Like,
which is so annoying because like it's supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
Like you're supposed to go on there and be like, oh, this is like a nice like escape or
but
whatever.
it's not really though, is it? They know what they're bloody doing. I will come back to it, but it's just so nice to like not know what everyone's doing and to just like sit in my bed and like sew.
Yeah.
That's what's happened to me now.
Sewing, yeah?
I'm getting into it. I'm just making a woodlouse because my best mate's pregnant and she's
You're
gonna have a
making
baby.
a woodlouse?
Yeah.
Like a...
Just a little like fabric one.
Oh, what, just as like a little...
Well, you know, I'm shit at sewing, but the baby's not going to know if it's good or not,
I mean,
is
if
he?
you're able to sew a woodlouse, I'd say you're probably all right at sewing.
I don't know if I would say able to sew a woodlouse. I'm just giving it a crack because I thought, you don't know, like it's just like an unusual thing. Also, I love woodlice. So like, yeah.
Is the plural
woodlice.
of woodlouse woodlice?
Yeah.
Not woodlouses.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, mate, woodlice are sick. You know that they're land crustaceans. You shouldn't have...
No,
I'm not going to talk about music anymore.
Please go ahead.
Do you want some facts, mate? Because they are fucking sick.
Here
Okay.
are some woodlouse facts.
So woodlice are the only land crustacean. They piss through their shells.
What?
And woodlice can get a disease that turns them into women. Like all the men can get this disease that turns them into women, and they don't need a man to reproduce. The women can just like lay eggs and reproduce on their own.
That's incredible.
And the reason you always see them together is because they'll die if they go off on their own, because like in order to retain water they need to like stick together, because otherwise they'll just like dry out.
That's crazy.
And also German people used to eat them to help them piss better. Like if they got piss issues, then they just eat a handful of woodlice.
And it worked?
Yeah, because they have like what's it? They got something in them. I've got perhaps these are kind of like the bottom of the barrel woodlice facts. I've got a whole book, not a whole book, but like half a notebook of woodlice facts.
Really?
That's making me sound like a fucking maniac.
Where have you acquired all this woodlouse knowledge?
Just watching videos about woodlice. They just I just like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you into I guess sort of like nature and that sort of thing?
I love like creepy crawlies and
Come on.
Trees and.
And are your favourite
things.
creepy crawly? What is your favourite creepy crawly?
It's so hard to say. I actually love earthworms a lot.
Yeah.
I love snails.
Are they creepy crawly? Yeah, I guess they kind of are creepy crawly.
Yeah.
They're more of like a wriggly,
Yeah, I suppose so.
squirmy wiggly than a creepy crawly.
Yeah, that's true. Shield bugs as well. They're like those
I
little
don't
green
like the
guys.
shield
You don't
bugs.
like them.
They make you feel
They're
weird. Don't they like really smell as well?
I don't know. I've never smelt one.
Oh.
No, I think they are called stink bugs as well. Sometimes
Yeah,
shield bugs,
yeah,
but I've never known
yeah.
why. I've never had any reason to think that they smell. But yeah, I do love a bug.
Have you ever? I'm trying to think how we can loop this back to music.
Oh, I know.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Go.
Actually, no, it's irrelevant.
No, go on.
It's just because in my rogue band we made a song about woodlice, which is why I like woodlice.
Oh
now.
yes, I was going to chat about the rogue band as well.
Oh god, this is so like unrelated from like all my professional.
Oh,
music
who cares?
stuff.
Who cares? What's what they called? It's like
impeccable skill. Yeah.
And what's the concept behind it? Or
Basically,
what do you make?
The concept is just like. So just like drag a hip hop loop into Ableton and then basically just like improv rap about anything that comes into your head. And then the outcome is absolutely sick
so
every time.
you're freestyling?
Yeah.
Pure freestyle.
Pure freestyle. There's one tune where we wrote down some lyrics, but yeah, everything else is pure off the top of the head.
I
and
feel
it's
like
sick.
I can't freestyle.
Oh, everyone can freestyle. You just need time to get into it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's it. I guess if you go for long enough, then
If you've got loads of people in a room just like all gassed and like everyone's being silly, then something you're bound to have some like just keep it rolling and then you can just cut out the good bits.
True. Yeah. Have you ever thought about going live with any of that sort of stuff?
We actually have, yeah. We actually have like. Yeah, we want to get a loop station and do like a Sunday at a festival or something, and like make some silly loops and then like improv about like silly stuff over the top and get people to come and like have a go. We talk about it loads.
What kind of stuff have you are in some of your tunes? You tell me about some
so
earlier.
I can tell you we've probably got about like 8 tunes out on SoundCloud. We've got one
enough for a
about the
solid
forbidden
album.
love between a man and a crab. We've got one about like a cat covered in mayonnaise. We've got one about two New York deli owners like having a hard time running the deli.
Damn.
We've got one about it's an ode to the male body and also Rasta Mouse. And the picture is just like a buff man with Rasta Mouse's head. We've got one about knees and we've got one about baked potatoes on your nipples. And then we've got a couple of dubs as well. One is about Dwayne the Rock Johnson having a mutant baby with some broccoli, Dwayne the Brock Johnson. And then we've also got like this hardcore one about a squirrel mum that needs to feed her squirrel babies. And it's got like a 2-minute like freestyle garage MC vocal from me in it, and it's epic.
Oh my god. I don't think I've ever heard them in their entirety. I think you played me like snippets of them before. They're all available on SoundCloud.
They are, yeah.
Under
and we've got one
skill.
about like wearing your uncle's trousers, and they like fit really well, but kind of like makes you scared how well they fit.
That's so good. I feel like you could so take that somewhere. This is like the kind of thing that you do see at a festival on some sort of like weird like side stage. You know what I mean?
That's
so
the dream.
good.
That's the dream.
Oh my god! How long have you been making those for?
For like 4 years
Really?
or something. Yeah.
So longer than you've been doing MUNAAAA then.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been that was the real first tune you put out. Then would have been an Impeccable Skill
I think
track.
it was. Yeah, it was Unspoken Thighs, which is the one about Rasta Mouse and the male body.
Unspoken Thighs. Amazing. Are they all free downloads?
They are not free downloads, but I would say I'd send them to anyone who wants them, but they all got accidentally wiped, which is lucky I've got a hard copy actually. Because,
Yeah. What you got them pressed to vinyl?
I do have them pressed to vinyl.
Oh, yes, you said,
My friend Matt
yeah.
got a one-off pressing from Dub Studios of them, which is probably the roguest thing they ever heard. Like,
Imagine it's like, oh,
I know.
can you press these tunes? They're for a friend.
like the most crusty, like unmixed, like horrible, like shouty, like distorted songs.
Which one? I mean, it might be impossible to choose, but which project do you prefer doing? Which one do you find more satisfaction in? Because there's something to be said for just being absolutely fucking mental and
Not
just like
gonna
doing
lie,
random
like
stuff.
I prefer Impeccable Skill.
Yeah.
Like I love like doing MUNAAAA stuff. Like it really is great. But like in terms of like happy memories and like Impeccable Skill is so, you know, I literally it's just pure good vibes. Like I think that's the thing as well. It actually kind of helps me with the MUNAAAA stuff because it's easy for me to start taking it all too seriously, and then we'll do that and we'll just be like literally not giving a shit about what we do and just having a laugh, and then we'll actually end up with something that we're kind of proud of in a way. Like, and it just, I know it's kind of an exercise. Like he also makes music seriously too, so it's kind of nice for us to both just like just remembering it as a hobby as well as just like something where you're trying to make something for other people that's good. Like, you know, just
That's
remembering to do it for
so
fun.
important, isn't it? Like to remind yourself why you do something and that you're doing it for yourself so much more than you're doing it to sort of like please other people. Like I think that like so many people get sort of lost in that cycle.
Yeah, it's
and
really easy to do.
Yes, 100%. And I think that it can be quite demoralizing when you sort of forget why you did it in the first place. And it also comes down to the thing of like we were chatting about this as well, where it's like doing something like as a job can sort of like suck the fun out of it a little bit. You know, like I'd be quite scared if Belters was to go full time that I would no longer enjoy it the same way.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so important to not forget that. And I think, yeah, it's just like, I think sustainability of any project like that is hard, because like there are going to be points where if you're like trying to make a name for yourself or make some kind of a mark in music, like you are just going to get burnt out, because it's tough, like trying to do that all the time, and it's impossible to have fun all the time, you know. It is, as much as we all want to do that. Like there are going to be times when you're worrying about it and it feels like a chore, which is normal, but if it starts happening a lot, then it's important to always bring yourself back and be like, remember like why you started doing it, and just prioritize that over everything.
Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of Chat and Breeze. Just to reiterate that patreon.com/Belters is the place to go for exclusive Belters dubs and half an hour bonus podcast content. And also, if you are watching this on Spotify, give us 5 stars. I bloomin' beg you. I just love seeing that little number go up and up and up and up. I know I'm being a beg, but who bloody cares? It's my podcast and I can do what I want. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Head over to the Patreon for more content. And I will see you next week, where we have a very, very special guest. I'm very gassed to announce this one. So yeah, peace, safe, bye.